G'day guys, welcome to the YouTube channel. I haven't used it for a really long time, but I thought I'd start getting back into it a little bit. So to kick things off, I'm going to make a video here on how I'm going to set up my worm farm. Some of you may know through Instagram and other socials that I started a mealworm colony a little while back, and I'm at the stage now where the beetles are getting pretty close to the point where they'll start laying eggs. So I need to sort of get this sorted. So been looking around for a couple of weeks for different, looking at different tubs and stuff, and the bride was able to find these in a local dollar shop. Most of the ones I looked at, they were better sizes and that they were a bit bigger, but they were like 10, 15, 20 bucks or more even in some cases. And I just don't want to spend that sort of coin. So anyway, so we got these. They're a bit smaller, but I think they'll be fine. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut the bottom out of the top one, just like all the other ones you see on YouTube, I guess. And I'll put some fly screen in, and then I 3D printed up these little clips that'll fit kind of snug on the bottom tray, and then that'll hold it up just the right distance, because otherwise they nest right down inside, which is like the tricky part, right? You need a bit more room in the bottom. So by making those little things, I mean those little, I don't know, brackets or whatever you want to call them, I mean they took like a few minutes to design in Fusion, if that, and then like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it was, and the machine had printed out 4 of them. So I think they'll work fine. So I guess there's not much more to do really other than get into it. So what I'm going to do first is, I've already, save time and shit, I've already cut out the fly screen. I got some tape handy. You can see on the bottom there's these little feet or ledges, whatever. I want to leave them in there just because I'll give it a little bit more strength to the tub, I guess. And I'm just putting this tape here. It doesn't really do much other than just give me a visual indicator as to how straight my lines are. So it'll just make things that a little bit easier. So just run that around there like that. Like so. And then what I'll do is I'll just use my trusty 5-inch grinder with a zip wheel on it, and I'll cut out the base. So I'll just grab my ear muffs and we'll get into it. So that turned out pretty good. It's just a little tricky sort of in the corners here. I split it down the middle, obviously, as you can see. That'll just make it a bit easier to get out. So I'll just grab a knife so I can get those corners nicked. As always, keep your hands away from the front of the blade, as in keep them towards the back is definitely the best way to go. You don't want to be doing anything like this, because if you miss, you're going to pay. Trust me, I know. Alright. Okay, so that worked out pretty good, as you can see, and that left a nice lip on the inside where I'll be able to glue the mesh down. Just going to use the edge of the blade to grind off, shave off the burrs. Just make it just make it all that little bit neater. Sorry about the noise, I just realised it's raining. We've had quite a bit of good rain here the last few days, I guess, since probably the weekend, which is good. Could always do with rain. Alright, so all in all that turned out pretty good, right? So got plenty of room around there to put the mesh in, which, as I said, I cut earlier, so it fits in there sort of just nice and snug, not too big, but still plenty of room. I've already got the heat gun that I borrowed off the bride. It's been running hopefully for a little bit. Yep. Only trouble with this heat gun is it's a pretty powerful unit, so it runs really hot. And so what I might do is run a bead all the way around, and then I'll let it cool off just for a fraction of time, and then I'll stick the mesh down. So probably won't really be able to see. I'm just going to run a bead around here just inside from the edge all the way around. Looks pretty good. Mind you, that is damn hot, that glue. Just patting it down. Seems to be working because it's sticking to my finger, so seems to work. I wonder if it's gonna, I might just try and run a bead around the edge and just see what it's gonna do. Yeah, it looks like it's actually melting the screen. but it settles down, so probably be okay, I guess. Yeah, that seems to be working pretty good. Yeah, that's working good now. Yeah, the edge is picked up all the way around, so it's pretty well cemented down. So there's that. So what I might do is I'll let this cool off for a little bit, and then we'll come back and I'll put in the substrate and worms and what have you, and we'll go from there, beetles, and we'll go from there. See you soon. Okay guys, so I'm back. So I've let that glue cool for 10, 15, 20 minutes, I don't know, however long it's been. And it looks like it's glued down pretty good. It's done all around the edge. So I think we're ready to go on to the next step. So I'm going to use these black trays for the bottom. And first thing I want to do is put some oats in there for the worms as they start to grow, because they'll basically live in here in this tray until they turn to pupae. So you want probably an inch, inch and a half, maybe even 2 inches if you've got room, of oats in the bottom, or I believe you can use different kinds of meal, and like wheat meal or something, I think it might be. But I'm just using oats as I think it'll work best for my situation. And then I got my tray supports. So 4 of them will sit in there like that. My self-sorting tray on the top, or my beetle tray, will sit on top of that. And then basically how this is going to work, I believe the beetles live for 3 to 6 months producing eggs after 3 weeks or so. And they always burrow to the bottom to lay their eggs. Their eggs and frass will fall through the fly screen into the tray below, which keeps them safe, and you don't have to sort them from the beetles, because the beetles will eat them, just because that's how they go. And I'm thinking every 4 weeks I'll swap out this tray. I'll take this one away, bring another one in, put the clips in, sit it on top, and then that first tray will become colony number 1 of my mealworms, and I'll just keep them fed, and they'll grow and grow and grow until they turn to pupae. And my plan will be to keep growing them out rather than feed them to the chooks until I get enough to have 3 or 4 colonies. I think if I have 3 or 4 colonies about a month apart, I should be able to just maintain, they should be able to produce enough to keep the beetles population up, as well as have worms to feed the chooks. But we'll see how that goes. This is the tub that I had my beetles in. I've got another one that has the worms in, and then as they turn to pupae, which is these little alien looking creatures on this tray here, I fish them out from the worms, and I'll put them on this tray with the idea being that it'll make them safe from the beetles and also safe from the worms, because they will get cannibalised because they're pretty totally defenceless, I guess. And this is just a 3D tray, a tray I printed up my 3D printer, drew it up in Fusion 360. It's in 3 pieces, so I've got 2 legs in the tray. I'm probably going to do a new one, and I'll leave a little bit of a gap around the ledge. You can sort of see there's a lip going around, and the idea of that is it stops the pupae from rolling off, but as they turn to beetles, the beetles start exploring and they trip over the edge and they end up in the tray below, which keeps the pupae from being cannibalised. So it works really good. I mean, I check them every day and pick off any beetles that are sitting on there, but beetles do just go on their own accord, do go over the side. So, so I don't know how many beetles are in here. There's quite a few, I guess. I can't really say for sure how many's in here because I didn't bother counting them, but I'm just going by the number of pupae that I've pulled, probably somewhere in the vicinity of 300 or so far. And so I've just got the oats in the bottom, some carrot for moisture, and a couple of bits of cardboard. So what we'll do is we'll fish out the carrot and the cardboard, and we'll just plonk these guys in. You can sort of see there is quite a few. Now I'll just spread that out a little bit. That's probably 1.5 inches, 2 inches of material there, oats. Plonk the cardboard back in. I kind of like the dark bits. A few bits of carrot for moisture, and that's just about it. Plonk my pupae tray back in. That'll work nicely. The only thing I don't have for these trays is lids, which you don't really need lids per se, because they can't climb out of the trays unless the walls are really dusty. Like after 6 or 12 months or something, apparently if there's enough dust on the sides, they can actually climb out. But you know, you don't really want them open either, you know, like especially if I've got them in the shed here, so if a mouse or something finds them, probably eat a lot of them, I guess. I don't know for sure, but these lids kind of sit over the top, do a little bit, but my plan is just to get some core flute, like old election signs, that sort of crap, and I'll just cut it to size and just sit that over the top with a few holes for air, and I think that'll serve me well. And as I said, the idea will be that every month or so I'll swap out the bottom one, because it'll have a bunch of frass and small mealworms and eggs and so on in there, and I'll just grow them out, and then after, I don't know what it is, so many weeks, whatever, they'll start to turn to pupae, and then I'll fish them out and probably start another tub the same as this blue one, and set up a second colony, third and fourth and so on. And then once I get to the point where I've got plenty of mealworms, plenty of beetles and plenty of production coming through every week, then I'll start feeding them to my chooks. So yeah, I think this will work good. As I said, it's much the same as what you see on all the YouTube channels. You know, like there's plenty of videos on it, but I just thought I'd do my own spin, especially with the 3D printed things, because some people use big tubs with smaller tubs, but you know, you're using a tub this high and you don't need it. You know, you only need, the beetles don't need a lot of room. You know, they only need a couple inches above the substrate, and it is plenty. And this way, you know, I could have potentially 5 or 6 of these colonies going and not take up a whole lot of room. So yeah, I think it'll work out pretty good. So you got any questions or input or better ideas or anything like that, just chuck them into the comments down below, and we'll see how this all pans out over the next couple of months. Thanks for watching. Cheers.